This episode of the Deep Thinkers podcast is brought to you by Crandall Pest Control. Crandall Pest Control has been family owned and operated in the state of Arizona since they were founded in 2002. Their main deals are termites, scorpions, and general pest control, but they can do pretty much anything you need them to. Their phone number is 480-360-4999, or you can reach out to them online at crandallpest.com. If you mention the Deep Thinkers podcast, you will get $30 off your first treatment. Again, that's crandallpest.com or 480-360-4999. Hello, Planet Earth. This episode of the Deep Thinkers podcast is brought to you by Bright Island Outreach. Bright Island Outreach is a group of dental professionals that goes down to the Dominican Republic multiple times a year. They take young students, dental students from the United States, as well as dental students from the Dominican, and they all go down and they teach people how to take care of their teeth. People who can't afford to do it, people who can't afford to actually go to dentists, they go into some of the more impoverished areas, and they teach people how to take care of their teeth, and they do teeth extractions, and they do root canals and fillings and cosmetics. There's a lot of different ways you can help out. You can go online at brightislandoutreach.org, and you can buy a t-shirt. I wear mine all the time. They've got really cool prints, really soft cotton. They feel great. I always get compliments on it. People ask me what it's all about, and I tell them. You can donate, or if you feel like you really want to get involved, you can actually go with them and check it out and help them out. They're always looking for volunteers. So, but whatever you do, go online to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and check them out there. Give them a follow and help them out with that online presence. Thank you very much. This episode of the Deep Thinkers podcast is brought to you by Maracaba Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Andre Maracaba has been doing Jiu-Jitsu for nearly 25 years. He's been in Arizona for over 7 years. In 2017, both his adult competition team and his children's competition team took first place in the state of Arizona. You can find them online at maracababjj.com. That's maracababjj.com. Or you can call the gym at 480-830-6051. Maracaba Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a great atmosphere. It's a great place to train. I train there. A lot of good things going on with the kids program there. A lot of good things going on with the adult program. It's just a real good community. Andre is a tough coach. You'll definitely learn a lot from him. If you're considering getting into jiu-jitsu, definitely come in and check it out. If you're looking for a new gym, if you've already done jiu-jitsu in the past, maybe you want to get back into it, that's great too. Come check it out, maracababjj.com. This episode of the Deep Thinkers podcast is brought to you by Element Stoneworks. Element Stoneworks is a marble and granite countertop company. So if you have some surfaces in your home, whether it's counters in your kitchen or in your bathroom, or if you have a little desk nook that you want some granite on, you want to make it look nice and sleek, nice and posh, this is the company for you. They're on Facebook as well as Instagram. You can reach them at 602-930-8740 or at 480-290-1879. Now, Element Stoneworks does all their own installs and all their own fabricating. So sometimes it's better just to send a text message to these guys, but feel free to try to give them a call anyway. Reach out to both of them. They are insured, and you can find them on Facebook as well as Instagram. Mention the Deep Thinkers podcast, and you will get $50 off your install. Hello, Planet Earth. I am here today with two very special guests. I am here today with Angel Adorno.
How you doing? How you
Hey,
doing,
Angel.
everybody?
And also Allen Spindel. How are you doing, sir, Allen?
How you doing?
Doing very good. Now, today is this is a very special guest, and I've wanted to have Angel on for a long time. Angel and I met probably 6 or 7 months ago at a jiu-jitsu tournament.
It was
And
September 31st.
September 31st? Okay, cool. September 31st, 2017. I'm horrible with dates and things like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
I remember all that weird stuff, so
there you
don't
go.
sweat it.
There you go. So I was at this jiu-jitsu tournament and I looked over and I see a blind gentleman with a seeing eye dog standing there in a jiu-jitsu kimono. And my first thought is, you've got to be kidding me. I've got to go talk to this guy. So I went over and I introduced myself and I said, hey, my name's Jesse. I've got three uncles that are blind and um, how long you been doing jujitsu? And we spoke for a little bit, and Angel had a few questions for me that I had to go and ask the workers of the tournament, just because sometimes it's hard to hear your name, and sometimes things can be weird. And it's nice to have somebody who can kind of sort that out for you. So as we were waiting for the tournament to take place, we started chatting. We became friends. Angel, let's
Yeah.
let me ask you a little bit about your background. Were you born blind?
No, I was born with a condition. I don't know the technical name of it, but when you're born too early, the retina's not developed so well.
Okay.
So as you get older, the vision deteriorates and it breaks down. But I was able to see until the age of 17, 18 years old.
Okay. All right. And how old are you now? Just so that my audience can have a little bit of a background on you.
I am a wonderful, hot-looking, and best shape of my life, 53.
Nice, nice. All right. And both of you guys live out in New York, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Right on. Now, Alan, you are Angel's jujitsu coach, correct?
I am one of four.
One of four. Okay, so you're one of his
He's the
coaches.
he's the main one. Now he's being humble, but he's the main one.
I
I'm
got
the
you.
main
He,
one. Yes.
he's the
There-
one that stepped up. I met Alan in October of I don't remember the exact date of 2015. A little bit after he got his black belt. I was in class that day because I didn't go to work, and he approached me and asked me if I needed help. So we started training, and we became friends. And Alan was the reason my jujitsu got a lot better, and also he improved my diet so much.
Yeah,
he
I'm right
tapped
in
my
the middle of
stomach.
refining that myself. I'm down to 2,000 calories a day
He
strictly
tapped
and
he
dropping
tapped my
weight.
stomach as we're walking. I think it was maybe the fourth or the fifth session in, and he's walking into the locker room, and I'm standing there. And he taps my stomach. He goes, "Angel, you got to do something about this."
Yeah, yeah,
And I said, "Oh
Hear
no."
that?
yeah, man. It's crazy how much jujitsu helps you manage your weight. You know,
Oh yeah, you got
I
no
remember
choice.
being I remember being back in high school and listening to wrestlers gripe about cutting weight or maintaining weight and just not getting it at all. And now that I am a part of the grappling world, I get it. I get how you can maintain a certain weight. I get how you can cut weight. It's starting to make a lot more sense, especially now that I'm counting my carbs meticulously, trying to get down to 190, so I don't have to compete at super heavyweight anymore. So
See, but I don't even see. I went down to like 150 something, and Alan even tells me, listen, you don't need to go down that low. You don't need to count. You just, I just, I just substitute stuff that I need for stuff that I really like. Like if I get the urge to eat something that's a little negative for me, I'll eat it, but then I'll stick tons of vegetables with it. I'll have like a salad or,
there you
you
go.
know, so you just can't do this. It's like putting the brakes on a car that's going 99 miles an hour. You can't do it.
Yeah,
The whole with the jiu-jitsu, it's a whole total lifestyle. You can't be a white belt and all of a sudden do a tournament 2 weeks later.
Right. No, that's the thing that made the difference for me is like during the day with eating is knowing I'd have to roll later and knowing that if I ate that, it's just going to wreak havoc on my stomach. So maybe I should eat something a little lighter, and maybe not have that greasy burger, maybe go with the salad instead. So,
There's I don't remember the name of the supplement, but I took it for a while when I was working. And the supplement is made to get rid of any type of grease out of your blood, right? But here's the thing. If you eat anything greasy, let's say something greasy, it goes right through you. So you can't be home and taking this. So when I was taking this, I remembered, I would go to a diner and I go, oh, what I want to have, and I go, oh, I had such a supplement 2 hours before. Just give me the salad. I don't want no greens, no chicken, no nothing. Just no, no fries, no nothing, because this supplement, whatever you eat that has grease, will wipe you out, man. So it actually worked while I was at work. I wasn't training, but I think if I would have been training then. So there are a lot of dieting. Dieting is a one-step thing. It's like walking. You just don't start out running. You just don't start. You take a little step.
right.
Day by day. And I
Um,
only learned it because of getting into jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu taught me patience somewhat.
yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this, Angel. What were your first couple classes of jujitsu like, as far as just learning the basics without actually being there to see it?
Well,
How yeah, kind of
uh-huh.
take me down that road a little bit if you don't mind.
Okay, well, I'll backtrack a little bit. I was originally doing kettlebells,
Okay.
and my trainer passed away, and I kept on hearing about jujitsu from the Joe Rogan podcast, jujitsu, all this. So I said, maybe I should try this, and I researched a couple of schools. And Clockwork, I chose Clockwork because it was near my job, and I went to the school first, and I went twice, 3 times, and the third time I took a lesson. It was somewhat. My lesson was short because at the time, the guy that taught me, it's nerve wracking. You don't know how to do it, and some people think because you can't see your body frail, and that's a normal thing. So after my first class was very supportive, very creative. I rolled and I was ragdolled,
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
was a
my
little
first class too. So,
I was paranoid with rolling with girls because here I can't see, and in certain moves you gotta grab the rappel. And here you got these girls, and I told this girl, listen, I don't want to grab you because I might grab a girly part trying to grab your lapel. She goes, you're not gonna grab a girly part. So we made this deal that when I went to do the move, the drill, she would flip the collar out so I
okay.
could grab it, and that worked fine. But then when we rolled and she knew I was afraid to grab her, she was a white belt also, so she got me. She flung me around. Now almost 3 years later, I'm not everybody in there knows me, and it's been beautiful. All the ladies that I wrestled with, I've always went to. What I do was I wasn't sure how to grab the lapel, so I would start up. So it would be like above their neck and just lower my hand down to where it had to be. But now, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to manhandle a girl because they manhandle me. And I love a woman that gives me a match. We got a couple of Clockwork, which Allen has rolled with, that are beautiful grapplers, man. Oh my God.
Very cool.
And I've been armbarred. There was one girl there, I can't remember her name, but she choked 4 of us back to back, and we were just thinking that nothing's going to happen to me. She got us all.
Nice. Yeah.
So now everything's not awkward no more. I think we learn from each other. They learn from me and they learn from them. And I noticed that a lot of the people who teach it, the instructors, they're more descriptive to the people that they're talking to. At least when I'm there, they describe everything. So I sort of think that helps a person in the long run.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I can see how that would that would help people who could actually even see the move, because a lot of times you're from a different angle, and there are times when I'll walk and I'll move to see exactly where someone's hand is,
Right.
exactly how they're making that grip. And if they're sitting there explaining every little detail, then yeah, I can see how that would be a benefit to the entire class. So so after a couple weeks, um, how long did it take before people realized that even though you couldn't see, that your body wasn't frail, and that yeah, you were here to do this, and that you had caught in the bug? How long did it take to kind of
I,
get that
I
rolling?
think, let me see, I joined July 7th, 2015, and I think it took maybe 2.5 months, 3 months, around late September, early October, just around the time that I met Spin, because it was like a getting through thing. Everybody was nervous. They figured we don't want to hurt this guy, whatever.
Right.
So there were times I had to approach the role with people, but it was an interesting thing because it was very supportive. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel weird. I
Right.
just felt bad for these guys that I couldn't communicate to them like, listen, it's okay, because nobody wanted to make me feel bad and everything. But I got put through the paces just like if I had eyes. And then now after I became a blue belt, it's even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody once they see you with that blue belt, like, it's kind of like, oh, okay, all right, this guy's a blue belt now, huh? Let's see what he's got. I had a
You're
friend ask me this about you. We were talking about you. This is probably a couple weeks ago, but there's a guy online named Nogi Yogi is his online handle, and he's a black belt. Does a lot of yoga. Really cool guy. And I
right.
was up in Cottonwood rolling at Verde Valley Jiu-Jitsu. I've got some friends up there, and he was in Sedona at the yoga festival, and he popped in just for a roll. And he mentioned that he had a friend that was blind, and I was like, "What? So do I?" Like, these are two guys that are sightless that do jujitsu, and we kind of,
Mhm.
in the middle of our roll, we started talking about it a little bit, and he said, "I think jujitsu is a perfect exercise for someone who is sightless,
It
because it
is.
really doesn't matter if you see someone or not." The only question he had
No.
was how do you
Mhm.
start out in your tournaments? I said, well, I imagine someone tries to make a grip and he just goes from there. I mean, once someone tries to make a grip, they've kind of
Okay. I'll,
telegraphed where they're at. But yeah, how
I'll,
how do you do that in tournament?
I'll let Alan explain it to you because this is sort of new.
Yeah, Alan, you're here too.
Oh, it's
Uh,
cool. It's cool.
yeah, no, Alan is. We were chatting a little bit before, like we mentioned before. Alan is Angel's coach. And yeah, man, jump in here, Alan.
I learned from Angel. I spoke to a bunch of referees, and what they do is, let's say you take, and I'm going to be very descriptive. This is how I train Angel, and I'm training myself. I
Okay.
take my left hand. I take my left hand, and I'll reach it forward and grab my opponent's same side right collar. Does that make sense?
Right.
I take my thumb, I dig my thumb in first, and then I wrap my four fingers inside his gi and get a good bite on the gi.
Right.
And my thumb is out like I'm hitchhiking. And man, those four fingers wrapped inside the gi at the clavicle level near his neck is enough to control him.
Okay.
My opponent would do the same thing. He takes his left hand, grabs my same side right collar. So we have one grip. The second grip would be Angel's right hand. He'll grab the opponent's same side left arm at the tricep, at the elbow, at the forearm, or the sleeve,
Okay.
whatever we want. And Angel and I are figuring out where the best places. And you start there. So we both have neutral grips. One hand on the collar, one hand on the sleeve. And the referee says, ready, go. And that's when you go.
Okay. Cool.
So to describe from a blind person's level, my left hand will grab his right arm, right, like Alan just said,
Yeah.
and my right hand to go up to his lapel.
Okay. Very cool.
He just left. I'm lefty. Sorry. That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
Cool. So they kind of just start you out there, and then basically they give you the signal, and it's on.
Yeah,
It's
but you know the interesting thing is the guy. By the way, what's the name of that organization we were with in Phoenix, man? I want to give them a good shout out. They were great. That organization where I met you at. What was the name of
Oh, is that
organization?
IBJJF?
That was wait a minute. That was an IBJJF.
I think so. I think it was.
I know they used the IBJJF rules, but I think it was run by an academy who used a different name. I can't remember.
Um,
Southwest something.
yeah, I don't remember the name of the actual tournament. Um,
And I know it was held in college in that college, but
yeah, Phoenix
they
College.
yeah, it was held at Phoenix College, and that referee, man, like I noticed a little stuff. That referee was on point, man, and the gentleman who gave me the match, Noah Sensabaugh, was incredible, man. I learned so much from him, and he was a great person, man.
Very cool.
He gave me a beautiful match.
I'm glad you had a positive experience with it, man.
Yeah,
Referees have a tough job. I would never want to be a referee, man. Especially when these higher tournaments, you've got kids from Brazil coming up and they have so much on the line, because jiu-jitsu a lot of times is their way out of the favela. And, to be that ref that DQs a kid because he reaped or something like that would just be, yeah, yeah. I mean, not me. I'll compete, but I wouldn't want to be a ref. so,
No.
so
well, the only thing that I could say for refs, if I've always believed that if you're gonna be a ref, especially when somebody's counting on you, be there. Don't face up. Like the referee when I was there, he was there, man.
right,
I felt him. He was running on. He just didn't stand. He was there, man.
right. You
So
have to be as present reffing as you are when you're rolling.
yeah, and it was just a pleasant experience for me, man. I enjoyed Phoenix. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed everything. And the general, like I said, Noah Sensabaugh is a great person, man. He lives in Tucson, and
Very cool.
we went for dinner afterwards. Um,
Nice.
Alan asked a question earlier about out of all the martial arts, how come Jiu-Jitsu is there's like a big camaraderie in it, a big sense
Right.
of brotherhood thing. The only conclusion that I come that I think is it makes you realize you're vulnerable, but at the same time, it makes you realize you're strong. So you and your opponent are the same way. And because you're vulnerable and strong at the same time, you know what you are and you know what your opponent is. So you have decent respect with a point to where it ends afterwards. And this person is your friend because even though he beat you, he's going to tell you, listen, this is what I did and this is what you got to do so I can't do it again.
Right.
And that's why I think it's sort of like some type of weird understanding because you're not trying to hurt each other. You're just trying to learn.
Yeah.
That's what
I think some of it goes. I think also like when I see someone with a blue belt or someone with a purple belt, I see countless hours of them getting their ass kicked.
Yes,
Like and coming back for more and staying humble and staying coachable and just part of the human side of you appeals to that too. Just like, man, that sucks going through that. Like I know what you've been through. Like I'm going through that myself. Um, so I think that's part of it too, is not only do you have the respect for what this person is capable of because of what they've been through, but you have the respect for the emotional side of it of, man, it's hard getting your ass kicked over and over and over again and coming back for more, and staying humble and staying focused and not letting it get to you because yeah, man. Everyone can say, "Oh, you got to crush that ego. The ego's bad and everything." But the reality is that no one likes to lose, and losing messes with you. And it takes a lot to be able to lose over and over and over
I
again.
don't, I don't think it's losing. It's how you lose
Right.
because when I rolled with this when I rolled with Noah, I lost, but it was a great match. It's like, wait a minute, this is I think it depends on the individual you're with and the match. Because even at Clockwork, there are times I'm beaten and I laugh. I've been thrown. I laugh and I crack up, especially when Even when somebody's gotten me in a hole, they go, "Wait a minute, how'd you do?" So I don't. At least with my ego, I don't know. I don't think I have much of an ego when it comes, And if you do get a little, and the whole thing you got to admit is you got to remember that it's going to bother you that you lose, and you just get over it, because the only other choice, if you don't get over it, you quit jiu-jitsu altogether, and that's not going to happen.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu, you quit on yourself.
Yeah. Angel, when we talked about a month or two ago, you talked about how you were trying to uh, develop an organization to where, or a charity that taught jujitsu to the blind. How is that coming?
Okay, well, I got the idea from working with Allen.
Okay.
Allen, before he trained me, he worked in a high school, and yo, Al, tell him about a little bit about your history, man. How you inspired these kids, man. It's a real nice thing, and I'll click in after he finishes.
I was a high school phys ed teacher for 15 years
Cool.
in a really bad school. I picked the worst school in New York City.
Sheesh.
Gang kids, and my goal was to change lives. So I started a submission wrestling club after school, and I realized I inspired these kids. They just didn't have anything, no role model, no male role model. And I taught them jujitsu along with someone else. We brought an outside coach in, and I said, damn, I changed their lives. So when I met Angel, I said, wow, something about my teaching background is embedded in me. Let me work with Angel and change his life, because he wasn't getting a lot of attention.
Nope.
He's a white belt. No one who is a color belt wants to train with a white belt because they're going to get hurt.
It's true.
He's
Well,
old.
well, the thing is too is the white belt is just as likely to hurt the darker belt as the other way around. Just because white belts can be spazzy, they don't know when they're. A lot of times, white belts don't know when they're caught in a dangerous submission, so they can
Yes.
think they can spaz and try to get out of it. It's like, no, that's not. No, just tap, dude. Like you're caught.
Yes.
I was always cautious because of the whole vision thing. So I
Yeah.
never. I used to be so nervous that I was nervous about swinging my legs around, like trying to grab somebody in a triangle, which I'm not afraid anymore. So
Right.
go ahead, Al, finish, please.
And then I realized, my God, Angel has no limitations. Once he touches you, once you're in side control or in a touching, there's no difference between sighted and not sighted.
Right.
He really can do. I said, I'm turned on because I had retired from teaching. I said, but this turns me on. I enjoy this. I mean, you couldn't pay me to do this. If someone said, yeah, hey, I'll pay. Someone said to me here, I'm a corporate executive. I'll pay you, $100 an hour to teach Angel. I said, keep your money. I'm doing it because I want to do it.
Right.
Then I said to myself, why can't other, sight challenged, or whatever the word is, blind people,
Sightless, visually impaired. Yeah.
vision impaired. Excuse me, but I gotta be technically correct.
It don't matter.
Can't other vision impaired people do this? I think it's great. So I'm all for that. And there's an organization in New York City, not too far from where our academy is, that it's a blind school. It's a high school for blind students.
Okay.
I'm sure if Angel and I walked in there one day and gave a presentation, we couldn't do a rolling session because they don't see us. And
You're talking about where we went in that day, what we went to, that building on the side, 135.
It might be. I have to
Okay,
look.
no. Okay. No, that that I don't know if that's a high school, but
No, it's a separate school. Actually, it's a school for like a vocational school or a nursing school.
Okay, see that I didn't know.
It's for the blind. If we walked in there, Jesse, and we just spoke to the principal and went to the auditorium and gave a speech, I'm sure half the kids would go, I'm in,
Yeah.
I'll do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many parallels are drawn between Jiu-Jitsukas and like the old like kung fu master, or like the old Jedi master who goes on touch and feel and everything like that. And just from while I'm listening to Angel talk about this, part of my imagination wants to run wild. And with jiu-jitsu, there is no reason that any young person can't start in their teens, and by whether they can see or not, and by the time they are in their 30s or 40s, be a complete jiu-jitsu master. Whether you can see or not. It adds to there's so many amazing things about jiu-jitsu, and that's just one of the things that it just kind of adds to the ambience of it, is knowing that someone who can't see anything, the only advantage you have, you lose as soon as you touch them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Wow.
just, it's so amazing. Yeah. So, but
That terminology what you just said, that should be coined. That should be coined, because I didn't realize what you just said. That I realized it, but you put it into words.
Right. Any advantage you have over that vision impaired person who does jiu-jitsu vanishes as soon as they touch you, because once they touch you, especially if you can make a grip, they've got you. Let's be honest. I would love to see this charity materialize and develop and happen. I would love to see the lives of young vision impaired people changed and improved through jiu-jitsu. Let's do this, guys. Let's make this happen.
What I would want to do is I would want to partly start it here in New York City in Phoenix, and I would have to find a pilot school that would, because a lot of visually impaired kids, they don't have the income, so I would have to find a school or an academy that would maybe sponsor three, because I have three young kids in mind right now. One was a former blind wrestler, and the other two were the young kids, and they're very teachable, because I taught one of them. I taught one of the young ladies a rear naked choke, and I taught her in 5 minutes.
Nice.
I want to see if I could find a school somewhere, hopefully in Phoenix, because these three kids are in Phoenix, would sponsor them for, I don't know, 6 months to a year. And it would be all professional. They would have, they would sign a contract. They would get the gis and everything, and they would have to come at least 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, because I know life is. And would work it out from there, because when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was overweight. And a lot of visually impaired kids are overweight because they don't do any exercise.
Right.
Nobody wants to take them to do exercise. They don't get encouraged to do exercise, so they put on weight because you sit by your talking computer and you do stuff and you eat and you're catered to. You're not pushed. You have some blind kids out there that have dynamite families, but the majority of the time, they want to see you safe, and
right.
They don't want you to. So you put on weight. I know some kids right now that in their 20s at 300, 400 pounds. And it's really sad. And I remember being like that, and they would benefit. Now the ones that I just mentioned, the three from Phoenix, Arizona, are anxious to get started, because a person who could see could teach a blind person could teach another blind person, and a blind person could teach somebody who could see. So jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu. So
right.
It would basically start out with 3 and see if it would work its way up.
Yeah, I think starting small, key.
Just
like any time you'd start a jiu-jitsu gym. If I imagine if a coach is going somewhere to a new area, he has no students, he probably wants to start fairly small at first, and then once he has a few blue belts, try to expand a little bit more. But let's talk more off the air here and see if we can't make it happen.
They're beautiful. They're all in their early 20s. They're very strong, and they're ambitious because they want to do it because they see me doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And they like the fact that I lost weight, and that I didn't even need to try it. So they want to do this.
Right.
It's just right now because of finances and everything, their finances or whatever. So
yeah,
it'll be an interesting thing.
Right. Spinny, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I was going to say that when I was in high school, because it was a ghetto school, I had no money to buy mats or anything for these kids. I started a nonprofit 501(c)(3). I started it myself. I had a lawyer, pro bono, draft the papers for me because it was expensive. And once I received my, election of 501(c)(3), I raised money from friends, $300, $400, and that would be a way to go. Get someone to start a nonprofit, be a way to go, and then say, okay, we have 3 people in Arizona. We're going to sign them up at your gym, Jesse, and the organization will pay your gym. So they're regular members. But there's a special contract. Like Angel said, you got to come 3 days a week. You got to lose weight. You got to be good in school. And it would blow up. I've done it already. It would blow up in a good way.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I definitely think this is something that I want to spend some time and energy on. In Arizona. But yeah, let's definitely get started on that. There was something else I wanted to ask you about, Alan.
It would be the BJJO, Blind Jiu-Jitsu Organization, because it's a blind,
Yeah, instead of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJ. Okay, blind Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be catchy.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Alan, talking to you from Angel's coach, talking to you as Angel's coach for a moment. What are some of the more dangerous parts of Angel's game? Like, what has he developed more recently, especially since he's got his blue belt? That's made him more of a force on the mats. Everybody has their things they like to do. Everybody has their things they're good at. They're not at. If I ask Angel right now, he'll be modest.
I don't know.
What's his game? His game is developed. It's very hard to sweep Angel. Very hard to do a scissor sweep. Very hard to push the knee. It's very hard to get him on his back. His balance and base is so good. And he's learning all the moves at the same level or better than sighted blue belts because he focuses, he pays attention. I'm now showing him if Angel's in top half guard, let's say his right leg is trapped, he flops on his left hip, he walks his right heel to the guy's butt, then he takes his left knee and shelves it on the opponent's thigh, with his right hand, grabs the opponent's far side knee, which is left knee, pulls it in and sneaks his leg out and pushes him into top side control. That's a lot of shit I just described. If I told my wife that move, she goes, what the hell are you talking about? Angel has mastered that move, the flop side pass, shelving the knee to push it, breaking it. His learning curve has shortened up. That's it, Jesse. His learning curve has shortened up tremendously.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, now
there's another guy named Tommy that we roll with because it's like 4 of us. So
okay.
It's like 4. And I remember Tommy one day said I was like a damn spider monkey because I'll grab onto you, man. I'm not gonna let you go. If you peel me off, but it's gonna be a freaking hard time. If I roll with anybody, don't let me get my hands a certain place. And now when I roll with certain people, they already know my game already. When I roll with people, I always tell them, try and mess with my balance. And if I roll with somebody for once or twice and they told me, I can't get you off your balance, I tell them how to do it. And the reason I tell them how to get my balance off is because I got a plan for what's not expected. So I know you already know how to get me, so I got a plan to keep you from getting that. And it works out. It's my game is increased. I wanted to be better, but you got to be patient with everything.
Right.
And
now, Angel, are you just gi or do you do no gi as well?
Right now, I'm doing gi just for the fact that it's a whole new total game for me. And
for everyone, I just started doing no gi 2 months ago, and it's like learning, like right at my year mark. It's like starting over from square one.
Oh, you feel like a baby. You don't depend on it. It's more technical, but you can translate you could translate no gi into gi easier than transferring gi into no gi.
Right. Yeah, I think one, I think no-gi makes me a better grappler in general. Like because there's just let's say let me this
How that could happen?
yeah, I want to try to articulate this right. But say with gi, you're working on 1,000 different techniques that you got to work. There's 1,000 different techniques you got to work through, and 700 of those are involve grips with the gi or different things with the gi or the belt. So if you take those away, you have 300 techniques left, and so you're circling through those. And so it seems like because you don't have as much technical real estate to cover, that a lot of the basics pop up more and more. At least for me. Um, Plus, yeah, like you're saying, everything that you could do in no-gi totally transfers over to gi.
You could do a no gi move on somebody who has a gi and it works out, but
Absolutely. Where
you
the other way
can't switch
around, not so much. For me, it also
no.
seems like maybe gi, because gi is more technical. Maybe it's a little more polite. Maybe that's a weird way of putting it, but it seems like no gi is a little more. No, I'm gonna grab you
No,
and I'm gonna throw you around, and it's a little.
no,
It's a little.
no, no. Gi is not polite, man.
No.
Gi,
Compared to no gi. Compared to no gi. You
no,
know.
no. Let me tell you, 'cause the no gi is more polite. The no gi is
Really?
more polite.
Huh.
Yeah, think about this. With the gi, like the last tournament I was in, which was this Saturday, my gi got used against me in the worst way ever. I got caught. I got caught in a paper cutter. And I'm
Okay.
talking about it now. I got caught in a paper cutter, and my gi was used against me. The guy, I had more strength than the guy, and the guy, he knew what he was doing. He worked it, but my gi was used against me. You can't
Right.
get somebody in a you can't get somebody in a paper cutter choke if there's no gi. So
Right. Well, I'm not implying that everything is
no, no,
cordial and it's not wrestling. It just
no, no,
seems that
no, no. I think the gi is rougher. I think the gi
uh,
is rougher.
I
I
don't know. I don't know.
It wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me so much if somebody submitted me a no gi because I'm thinking, okay, he did this with all ingenuity. But when you get submitted and your gi is held against you, it's like, oh, come on,
Yeah, but that's
really?
more technical. That's more finesse and less force. See what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. When I say it's more polite, it just seems like it's less force and more finesse in a gi.
Yes,
More
yes.
technical. And with no gi, it's less finesse and more force. A
Yes.
little more brutish. That's
Yeah.
all I imply. Polite was a little was the wrong term. Maybe it was that was kind of being funny, but yeah, it just seems that like when I am doing gi, I feel like I'm doing martial arts. When I'm doing no gi, I feel like a wrestler.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
You know?
I 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, man, that's interesting. I'm falling in love with both. I like no-gi
Part
for
of what
the
you are. Yeah, exactly.
for the challenges that it provides and the unique perspective. Plus, man, by the time I get to no-gi, I'm already done a gi class and I'm exhausted and I'm just drained and getting those extra reps in there. And by the time we go live, I'm basically a tackling dummy by the end of that class. So
But right now, I'm doing this and I'm looking for sponsors. I got one sponsor right now.
who's your sponsor? Let's give him a shout out.
It's a company called Two Love Today, the number two, LOVE, today. And they are on Instagram and they're floating around on Facebook. And you can go to lovetoday.com. That's my first sponsor. But I'm looking for others.
And what do they do? What does Two Love Today do?
They basically pay for my so far they're paying for my for my tournament fees.
Right, but before they met you, what did they do? Like what do they do in general?
It's a brand new starting. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a brand new company.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, sort of like a dating company for singles. And what makes this company different is
Okay.
you just can't apply for this company. You just can't apply to them and say and come to the event. Somebody has to refer you, and you
Okay.
get screened. That's heavy duty screening. So you're not going to get weirdos. You're going to get serious
Okay.
people. And once a month, there are events where you go and you meet each other, and everybody sees each
Cool.
other's picture, and it's all consensual, volunteer. You know, you're not. You could go talk to people if you want. You don't. You can go and sit there. You could socialize, whatever. But it's one of these easy dating companies where it's very easy going, and even if you find a girlfriend or boyfriend, you have a lot of good friends in the long run, and good friends go a long way. And
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like it's kind of like a dating service, but um, if you don't find someone that you want to date, it's also like a group of friends that slash it's a friendship networking slash dating service.
sort of, I mean, Alan can tell you a little bit more about it. He knows more about it than me.
That's pretty much, it's a mixer. You go, the difference is you don't swipe like on Tinder.
Right.
You go, you
Oh,
go
something like
and
that.
you meet people in person. That's what it is.
Yeah, so kind of like people used to do like what, 15 years ago? God,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I love the internet. I think it's one of the most amazing tools that mankind has uh, ever developed. And I love social media, but man, social media has killed dating.
It's not like one-on-one. You sort of get a feel for the person when you talk to them, and this and that and this. Anybody could be anybody who they want on social media.
Right,
But what makes this company good is you make a connection, and it encourages you to go out. It encourages you to get out of the chair. It
right.
encourages you to just do what you need to do.
Cool.
And the people are very nice, have beautiful personality from what I understand. I spoke to somebody who went to one of these things, and the venues are very nice. So you just go there and you just hang out and you see what happens. But it's not like one of these other things where it's just, the quality is really good. And at the end of the day, quality is what basically matters.
Right, right.
So they're sponsoring me, but I'm looking for other sponsors like from geek companies and this and that, whatever.
And, and
I
to give, and to give Angel a shout out is that most likely he's going to be on the podium, because when you hit the masters level, masters 4, 5, 6, and I'm master 7 now.
There you go.
You don't have a depth of competitors where not everybody wins. When you go to the masters division, most likely you're going to get first, second, or third. So
Right.
Angel, I'm plugging Angel, is going to appear on the podium more often than you might, because you may have a lot of people in your division.
Right, right.
And that's what the
Absolutely.
sponsor chose him. Says, hey, I'm going to have my banner up there, even if you lose, Angel, because you're going to get second or third.
Yes, exactly.
There you
I'm always leaving something. I'm gonna leave that organization with something. So I'm looking for, what, it doesn't matter the company. I mean, if you give me a shout out, I will check you out. But geek companies, and I right now, I want to be able to compete, and I want to be able to, to eventually, I want to bring more awareness to this organization. So if you're a geek company, or you're a company and you want somebody strong, noble, honest, just somebody that that'll represent your company the way you want it, check me out.
For sure. For sure. So now, Angel, you've been a blue belt for what? About 4 months now?
I was promoted November, the week before Thanksgiving 2017, and it was a surprise. Alan, you tell him that one. I didn't know. Alan was the one that told me.
Usually the coaches, the head coach, the head sensei never tells, it won't say, hey, Jesse, are you coming to the promotions tonight? He doesn't do that anymore. If
Yeah.
you show up, you get promoted. If you don't show up, maybe the following week in class. So I said to the head coach, Josh Griffiths at Clockwork Jiu-Jitsu in New York City, I said,
Josh. Okay. Go ahead.
what's that?
No, we're just giving Josh a shout out, man. Great guy.
I said, I know you hate it, but I need to ask you, should Angel come to the promotion? And he goes very nonchalantly, he's on the list. Yeah. I said, yes. I said, Angel, get you a friggin' ass here next Tuesday night. I don't care if you take an Uber. I'll pay for your Uber. Get here.
Oh man.
And he got here, and he got promoted, and man, the crowd went wild.
That's awesome.
It's unfair. Let me tell you the interesting thing about that. I took a ride in, and the ride got here early, but New York has horrible traffic. New York has the worst traffic ever.
Oh yeah.
So sometime and it was late, and I kept on calling Alan, and I called him, listen, you know, I'm not gonna be in a minute. Tell me to go home. He goes, no, we're gonna hold it for you. So I showed up, and I was ready. I was already angry because it was already late. I showed up, I suited up, and everybody, all my jiu-jitsu brothers and sisters that were there too, stayed there. They didn't have to. They could have left. The whole place was full, and it's on my Facebook page. If you guys want to follow me at angelordorno.com, just let me know if you do the jiu-jitsu thing. Send me a jiu-jitsu message. And it was a beautiful experience for me because I'm the academy's first blind person.
Yeah,
It's not being the academy's first blind person that it was important to me, is that I achieved this and that they let me achieve it and that they didn't pull any punches and that I was just like everybody else, because I would have never wanted to earn a belt without deserving it, you know. And they gave. I wasn't expecting to become a blue belt so early. I wasn't, and it was because I started working with Alan a lot more, and the instructors started seeing what I was doing because I got into it. I mean, after I met Alan, it clicked. It clicked to where, you know, I flew to Phoenix, which I was afraid to fly, and I was afraid to compete because I didn't want to compete. So, you know, Alan sort of like, you know, he sort of like flipped the switch. And so I was happy that everybody stayed there. You know, I was touched. It was, when I got my belt, the only thing what came to my mind is, you're part of this, you belong. You're one of them, no matter what anybody says. You're one of them. And you know, when I go to Clockwork, or when I go to any academy, because when I trained in Phoenix for a week or so, and again with the jiu-jitsu thing, everybody was, you know, everybody in jiu-jitsu, that from what I know, from what I've seen, was very humble, invited me to their school. I mean, you know, so it's a beautiful thing. You have a mental understanding where it's the vision, but not the vision that you see. It's the vision of how you see yourself going ahead.
Right.
And if I can help somebody, you know, with this organization, if I can help somebody achieve, if I can help somebody feel what I feel, triumph, you know, when you roll and it's like, look what I've gotten. I've dropped weight. I've done this. I've done that. It works out.
Very awesome, man. Very awesome. So what are your goals for the short term and the long term with jiu-jitsu now, Angel?
Okay, well, my goal is to train a lot more with Alan as much as I can. I want to try and do weekends or whatever. But you know, everybody, when you have if it was up to me, I think I would train more than I would go to school, because right now I'm going to school working on my master's in vocational rehab. If I could, I would train more. But you know, we need a job. I need a job.
Right.
But my goal is to get better, get strong, learn more, create my organization, and get more people involved, and also get my sponsors in whatever order. But that's what I plan to do, and I want to spread jiu-jitsu around. You don't need to see, or even if your body's a little messed up, it won't be that way for long. There's a gentleman in jiu-jitsu that only has one arm, which I plan to roll with him one of these days if I ever meet him. He was born with a weird condition where he was born with one arm, and then he has an arm, but it stops at the elbow. And I heard he's incredible. He has his legs. And when you're disabled or older, or when something doesn't work right, you work creatively, and this guy works creatively. There's also a black belt, blind black belt that's in California who I want to roll with. So if you're listening, dude, I would love to meet you. Can't remember his name, but look him up on Google.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been a blind black belt for 20 years, and I saw the videos on him. He's excellent. So
yeah,
my
check
whole
him out for sure.
and go and take a lot of people with me on the jiu-jitsu journey, because that's all it is. It's a journey, which you're going to make stops along the way, but you're never going to reach. You're never going to reach to where you're going, because what fun is that in reaching your journey, you know? So I wanted, to go on this journey with my sponsors, and eventually with my whole with with the people I plan to bring, the other blind kids I plan to bring jiu-jitsu with Allen. Journey, we're just traveling. We're rolling, we're dieting, we're doing what we're supposed to do to be better, just for ourselves, and for everybody else around us.
Yeah, for sure. Right on. Well, Angel, you are definitely an inspiring individual, man. You've inspired me. I'm glad that we met. I'm
Yeah,
glad we
man,
were able to have this talk.
you helped me out so much, man, because here I'm this new kid, not new kid, but here I'm this new person, and I was nervous, and I just was totally lost, man. If you wouldn't have helped me out, I was just totally lost. But then, I felt at home in Phoenix, but it's a whole jiu-jitsu thing as well. So then, and that's the thing. Everybody in jiu-jitsu, we sort of look out for each other, because we've been there at one point or another. We've
Yeah,
been
for sure.
lost. We didn't know what to do. Just whatever. It's not a visual thing. It's just a whole mental thing.
Absolutely. Angel, before we wrap this up, one of the things I like to ask everybody when they come on the podcast is, what kind of music are you listening to these days?
Oh man. Okay, I like all the old school stuff, especially it helps me train,
Okay.
because I like stuff to train. I like stuff to, so I like to check out Rage Against the Machine.
Love
I like to
Rage.
I like to pump in a little Public Enemy here and there.
Okay.
I've um I've been checking out lately. There's a Michael Jackson album that came out in 1998 called Blood on the Dance Floor,
Okay.
and all those tracks are great for training.
Okay.
Let's see what else. I like a little Metallica now and then.
Love Metallica.
Let's see what else I like. I
Hey,
like
there's a band called One Day as a Lion that,
One Day of a
yeah,
Okay.
it's Zach De La Roca from Rage Against the Machine, and I don't know the guy's name, but he's the drummer of the Mars Volta, and it's basically just two people in the band. They have beats and a drummer, and it's Zach De La Roca rapping along, and it sounds like old school first album Rage Against the Machine, and it's awesome.
Ah, I like, and I also I like anything that'll inspire you, beats and everything. And I also like a lot of David Guetta. David Guetta.
Yeah.
I have played a lot of David Guetta stuff, man, because
Okay.
I have a decent speaking system, and when you hear boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
it helps.
Okay.
Um, and just I like stuff that I could train to, old school, new school,
Yeah.
depending on the person. I can't train to nothing easy.
Yeah, we
It
listen
has
to a lot of we don't often listen to music while we're rolling, but every now and again somebody will put something on, and it's usually instrumental rap beats. It's rap
now that
beats without all the lyrics. So,
now let me tell you interesting. I trained at a, and I wish I could give them a shout out when I was in Phoenix. I trained at a school, and they had music, and we don't do that at clockwork. But the one thing that you do learn is you block it out. It goes away.
yeah,
At least with me, when you start rolling, that music goes away, and it comes back once you're done, but
right.
it goes away because you don't have
Yeah.
time to hear that.
Yeah, you
But
don't
if
have time to focus on the music. You got to be present in the moment, otherwise you're going to get choked.
but I like anything with a beat, anything inspiring. I like Guns N' Roses, and
For sure. For
all
sure.
that, all that stuff. I don't know what Alan likes, because me and Alan are like 10 years apart. I like all the rough stuff that'll blow your ears out, and make your eyes bleed. But I don't. What type of music you like, Al? We never talk music much.
I like country music
Okay. I like country.
and rock.
All right, cool. Yeah,
Probably because my age.
Waylon Jennings is buried in my hometown. So,
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
not very far away from my grandpa. So,
wow.
yeah, but right on. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Let's keep in touch, and let's see
Can
if
give
we
out
can't get this foundation that we're talking about up and rolling.
some of my email info. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Angel. Alan, thank you for coming on. It was great to meet you. Planet Earth,
Thank you.
thank you for joining
Okay.
us and hearing Angel's story. And thank you for listening to Alan and everything that these guys have had to share with us.
So much.
Above all, Planet Earth, be excellent to each other.